Hi everyone, how's it going? So, I know the idea of a graph being life-changing can sound kind of out there at first, but it makes perfect sense when you think of what a graph actually is, a way of quickly communicating a lot of information. And in this video, I'm going to explain how this graph in particular, as well as a few others like it, can really help you out in your daily life and make it a lot easier to keep making the right decisions. It can be really easy to feel discouraged about where we are in our lives, especially when we keep seeing other people who've achieved more than us. But there's something that's far more important than where you are in your life right now, and that's the trajectory your life is following. So, back to the graph, which makes this idea extremely easy to visualize. It shows that if you get 1% better every day for a year, you'll end up 37 times better than you were when you started. This happens because the small positive actions you take each day have compounding results over time, so that even someone who isn't starting out in a great position but is making a bit of progress each day will eventually end up in a great place, even overtaking people who had a way better starting position but didn't make that kind of consistent progress. Putting yourself on this trajectory makes the passage of time into your ally. And the thing is, we already know what things we need to be doing to get this kind of growth. Working out puts you on the trajectory to looking and feeling amazing. Reading books puts you on the trajectory to being an interesting person who knows a lot. And spending some time each day learning new skills puts you on the trajectory to a great career. It's all stuff you've probably heard before, and it's really all very obvious stuff. So in that case, why isn't everyone constantly improving? Well, it's harder than you think to keep going with positive habits consistently. Because it turns out that the things that have the greatest ultimate payoff aren't the things that make us feel motivated to continue through the early stages. I learned to understand the way people react emotionally to their rate of progress by reading a book by the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure called Manga in Theory and Practice. This might sound like a strange place to be getting my self-improvement ideas from, but hear me out on this because sometimes you'll find the best ideas in unexpected places. This book is a guide to creating a great story, and when it explained the ways people react emotionally to different types of story, everything just clicked into place, and the way we react to our own progress through life made perfect sense to me. In a story, in order for the reader to feel good, the protagonist must always be rising. We crave fast upward progress, way faster than anything we'll see in real life. Now imagine how you'd feel if instead the hero was always losing. After a while you'd start thinking to yourself, why am I subjecting myself to this? I'm just making myself feel bad for nothing. In fact, anytime the hero's progress stalls for too long or goes backwards, we'll start to feel this sense of internal unease. We don't like seeing it. And after a while we'll just stop reading or watching the story entirely. A story without consistent rising action is a bad story. If you imagine the graph of a bad story, it would look something like this. And unfortunately, this graph, this horrible messy thing that we want no part of, that makes us want to throw down a book or turn off the TV in disgust when we see it in a story, is the kind of graph that represents real life a lot of the time. And here, there's no easy way to escape from it. That feeling of unease will stay with us constantly until we finally get ourselves onto a growth trajectory. But there's another problem. Even when we do everything right and get ourselves on the right course, it still feels too slow. Look right here. There's a long, slow plateau, where even with all our hard work, we're still not seeing massive results in our lives yet. We'll think that we're not making any kind of progress at all, when actually we're making a lot of progress, but the results just aren't visible yet. What we want is the exciting, perfectly paced, meteoric rise, and this kind of thing right here just demotivates us and makes us only work on improving things sporadically, which would ultimately take us right back to this mess of a life story. The trick to getting to the really enjoyable exponential rewards phase is making this feel like this. And the way to do that is to make yourself hyper aware of your own trajectory and your movement along it. Because feeling as though you're always rising is what motivates you to continue. Tracking every little bit of progress you make and reflecting on how far you've come will make this progress enjoyable even during the plateau, because seeing progress makes your brain release dopamine. The simplest form of progress tracking that you can do is writing down milestones and making a tally chart of positive habits on a piece of paper or a whiteboard. But the way to really make yourself feel great about progress is to tie that progress to a physical object in your living space, since the extra sensory stimulation this provides will make your brain even more satisfied. One example of this is called the Paperclip Strategy. It comes from a stockbroker who started each day with 2 jars, one full of 120 paperclips and another one that was empty. And each time he made a sales call, he moved one paperclip from the full jar to the empty one until he'd made all 120 calls. You could use any small object for this, like marbles, beads, or even coins. And it just makes any task so much more satisfying if you can visually see the progress taking place in front of you. If you really want to take this idea to the next level, you can use an object that naturally arises as part of the activity you're doing to perform something I call the trophy strategy. My own example of this is that since I decided to have a healthier lifestyle, I started collecting the scoops you get with each container of protein powder. As you can see, I've been at this for quite some time now, and every time I look at this pile of scoops, it reminds me of how long I've been doing this and all the progress I've made in trying to increase my fitness. And because to a certain extent I have to keep up my healthy lifestyle in order to keep getting the scoops, it feels far less artificial than making a note on a piece of paper or moving a bead across an abacus, and each scoop feels like a personal trophy. To apply this yourself, you could do things like picking up a pebble each time you go for a run. You could print out a favourite quote from each book you read and keep them together in a kind of meta reading progress book. Or you could take a photograph of every completed class assignment and work project and pin them up in the room you work in. By tracking your progress and keeping personal trophies visible in your home, you're engaging your brain in a way that maintains your motivation, that makes you push through the difficult plateau to the part where that rapid meteoric rise to glory that excites our brains so much in fiction becomes a reality. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then I highly recommend the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Its entire focus is on making it easier to keep making small improvements to your life each day. And if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, then don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day.